Hey y'all, it's Amber, and today we're making an apple pie caken. So for those of you that don't know what that is, it is the beautiful mix between a cake and a pie, and really it's a pie baked into a cake. So this originated a few years ago from someone on Food Network, and the actual pie caken that this person did was several different pies layered together with a cake. What, apple?
With pecan, pumpkin, apple spice cake, and apple pie on the top.
So lots of different cakes lots of different pies stacked together to make one cake. And if you go try to buy one of these or have it delivered to your home, they're super expensive. But there is a simple way to make it at home. And I don't know, I've probably said this before, but any kind of little shortcut in recipes, like using a box cake mix when you're making a cake, any kind of shortcut like that, I'm a big fan of. So this is one of those recipes that uses a box cake mix, and I am all for it. This recipe actually comes from a blogger, and her website is Melanie Makes. And so the way it starts is with one box cake mix. This is a yellow cake. And you're just going to prepare this just like you would if you were making the cake all by itself. So I'm going to pour in half a cup of oil. And then I'm going to crack 3 eggs. I'm going to crack them into this cup so that I don't get any shells in there. And I'm going to pour those in. And then get this all mixed together with the batter. Put a cup and a half, 2 cups in there. Make sure that's spread out so that we have a good cake layer on the bottom. So the next part of this recipe involves a store-bought apple pie. I'm sure you could make your own, but why not take one more shortcut and just use a store-bought, because it's probably just as good. So I am going to attempt to dump this out and then sit it down on top of the batter. And I did. Just cracked a little bit. All right, and then you pour the rest of this batter on top. All right, and smooth it out. And that's it. This goes into a 350-degree oven for about an hour. My cake is out of the oven. I actually put it in the freezer to try to cool it off a little faster, because the topping for this cake, or the frosting, is a Cool Whip frosting, and so if you put it on when it's still warm, even the least bit, this will probably just melt. So I'm trying to cool it off pretty fast so we can get it frosted before I taste it. So this recipe starts with a pack of instant vanilla pudding, and then you add in a cup of cold milk and just whisk that together until it starts to thicken up. So that's pretty thick. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of cinnamon, which obviously if you don't really like cinnamon, you could do less. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in now while I have my whisk so I can get it incorporated well, because you don't want a big clump of cinnamon. Ooh, that smells so good. Alright, and then you put in a container of Cool Whip. And I got, this looks like my cake batter did earlier. I got the extra creamy because why not? So I'm going to put this in just a little bit at a time and fold it into the pudding. And then once that's all mixed together, I'll add the rest. I feel like Cool Whip just makes me think of my childhood. Like, that's what so many desserts centered around was Cool Whip. Like strawberry shortcakes, or my grandmother always made banana pudding or chocolate pudding on Sundays for dessert, and it was always topped with Cool Whip. So the pudding in this, I feel like, makes it a little sturdier, more like a frosting, and less like Cool Whip. Prep time for this cake, for the cake part, was maybe 10 minutes. For this, maybe 5 minutes. So you're looking at 15 minutes max of prep. All right. So when you're frosting, you want to start with a big glob on top. Very technical term. And then you push it off onto the sides. Alright, so I switched over to a flat spatula just to try to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to try to go around the sides and give it, not going so well. More of a naked look. I like a naked cake because they're just a little more rustic looking. If you want it to look really nice and finished, you can do like I just did, put it in the freezer, let it get nice and hard, and then pull it back out, grab a flat spatula, dip it in warm water, and then just smooth over the top even more. So it gives an even more finished look to this cake. And I want to make sure I get some of this frosting and pie and cake. I thought that was too cinnamony. It was real good with apple. I really like this combo because, I mean, I like a warm dessert. So you get that with apple pie. But then cake is so fluffy. This is good. Real good Thanksgiving dessert. So try it. Let me know what you think.